Welcome back to Fake Guru. Today we have a follow-up on Siraj Raval, a very serious follow-up. Guys, I'm just going to be honest with you from the outset. This is going to be a lot less of the kitty gloves thing I was doing last time. Look, if you don't know, I already made a video about Siraj Raval in which I admitted that I like the guy and I've liked his videos. I've enjoyed some of his videos in the past. If you don't know, he's a machine learning guy. Try not to be too critical. I was trying to say, look, this guy needs to change. He's a great educator, but he's got some serious ethical sort of shortcomings when it comes to citing people. Saying somebody gave me a starter script and it's the whole script is not attribution. And then just crediting with starter code at the bottom of a second footnoted page from your original video that you call "Watch Me Build a Training Bot." He wasn't citing people. He ran a course where he didn't have a refund policy. He was banning people from the group. There were all these really pretty big glaring red flags, but I felt like, okay, let's maybe give him the benefit of the doubt one more time. My kind of closing words were, this sucks. This guy definitely falls into the fake guru category. However, I hope that he changes. But new developments, guys, just came out that it gets so much worse. It gets so much worse because last time, if just to remind you, the plagiarism was really he would take people's code, call it starter code, obfuscate that he was taking people's code. He'd hide it into his GitHub repo. He would clone his GitHub repo in such a way that the original author did not get credit. It was all this shady stuff, but there was nothing outright. I mean, it was like plagiarism in name only, maybe not like true plagiarism. But now, guys, he actually flat out plagiarized an academic paper. So here it is. Here's the paper right here. This was found by Andrew Webb on Twitter, where he compared Siraj's paper, which is over here, to this paper right here. And this paper right here, it was written by a whole team of machine learning experts. It's called Continuous Variable Quantum Neural Networks. It was written by 6 people. Now, Siraj's paper was written by exactly one person, and it was called the Neural Qubit Biologically Inspired Quantum Deep Learning. Now, it turns out this paper, which he said he wrote.
Because I recently published a paper called a neural qubit.
He's saying, I wrote this paper. These are my original ideas. He says, this is something I wrote alone. And basically, it's just a big plagiarism fest. So here's one of the pages that he plagiarized. Everything on the page was plagiarized. Now, it's important to note, guys, this is not a matter of he even just took just the page and just plopped it on his paper, which would be bad enough. He did that thing which people would do in high school. They would take the Spark Notes and they would change like every other word to try to get it to pass as like their own work. That's what he did. So it's not even like, you know, kind of honest plagiarism. It's like the kind that you're trying to hide something. So a great example is right here. It says X problems and non-commutative observables. And in Siraj's paper, he calls it X problems of human cognition. So he just changes stuff. So for example, right here, it says in the end of his now famous 1960 article. In Siraj's, it says at the end of his now famous 1960 article. So he just changes one word, right? Another one. While it has been shown that real computation can be directly applied to problems in numerical analysis in the scientific community, it is not clear if it reduces the discrepancy. Siraj says, while it has been shown that real computation can be applied straight to numerical analysis and scientific computing issues, it is not evident. So it's not clear, it's not evident. That is basically the summation of Siraj's contribution to science on this paper. I mean, it is absolutely breathtaking. This guy, Andrew M. Webb, is the guy who found it, and he ends up writing more about it. He is constantly showing where Siraj is plagiarizing. Here's another example. Siraj is basically directly taking even equations. So like he takes this right here, this whole image, and he puts it over here. I'll show you guys. He puts it right here. Boom, boom, same image. I mean, it's just directly taken. I mean, it's just totally shameless. So that's basically throughout the whole thing. It's pretty pathetic, if I'm going to be honest, because what this actually was passed as is a scientific contribution of Siraj. So this is one of Siraj's scientific contributions to the community.
My whole shtick is that you don't need to be a PhD in order to do research, in order to contribute to this field. And I think I live that because I recently published a paper called a neural qubit.
I mean, I can't even explain the irony of this. that Siraj is trying to live out an example. The only thing he's living out is that maybe you should be suspicious of people without pedigree or a background in the field who are purely self-taught and seem to be coming out of nowhere with all these papers that sound eerily familiar to things that other people are doing. I mean, this pretty much shatters Siraj's chance of being well respected in the community. Plagiarism is not fondly looked upon by anyone, and I think with good reason, but especially in the scientific community. If you pass something like that off, and this is what is amazing too. He live streamed this moment, this October 11th. October 11th, he's saying, look, I'm living out my values of you don't need an education. He's saying, look, this is mine. He's doubling down. The neural qubit, it's my idea. October 13th, all of a sudden the apology comes out. After getting called out. After getting called out. I mean, that's the whole thing, right? He goes, I've seen claims that my neural qubit paper was partially plagiarized. Already I'm pissed off because it's like, no, what's the point of saying partly plagiarized when you changed clear to evident? I mean, what's the point of that? This is true, and I apologize. I made the vid and paper to align with my 2 vids a week schedule. I hope to inspire others to research. Moving forward, I'll slow down and be more thoughtful about my output. Now, here's why that just kind of angers me. The whole point of what he's saying is, look, I was just in a big rush, and so I just did what we do when we're in a rush. We try to fit a deadline. But that's not what people do. People don't plagiarize to just fit deadlines. That's not like a normal human behavior that like, oh, we just all do it, don't we, guys? Don't we? I mean, you know what it'd be like? It'd be like saying, hey, I really wanted to get my startup off the ground. So because I was in a rush and I needed some cash flow, I just robbed a store. I mean, we get it, guys. In the future, I'll try to slow down and be more thoughtful about where I find my money. It's like, whoa, wait. you stole money? That's not like a thing we do. I mean, that's not just like oopsie, like, guys, don't we all just do this? Don't we all just steal other people's papers and pass it off and this isn't even like, this isn't for like a homework assignment. This is like saying like, oh, here's what I'm adding to the scientific community. And it's just frustrating because, again, I mean, even though he says he apologizes, it feels like he immediately explains it away as, well, I was under a tight time frame. But a tight time frame doesn't explain this. This is like an ethical problem. I mean, this is a problem. You don't respect other people's work. That has nothing to do with a time frame. I mean, this stuff really infuriates me. I can't look at it for too long because I'm going to get angry. But he switches we to I in the paper. That's what maybe makes me the most angry. Is he goes, the team's like, we did this, and Siraj, who has nothing to do with the research, says I did it. Siraj, just like the starter code. Siraj, check out the last video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Siraj, I am doing this. Why is the color glitching? I'm sorry about the color thing. I know that's happening. I can't fix it. I'm going from green to pink. No, but that's a huge problem. Look at this. In the phase space picture, we treat the conjugate variables. Siraj, I treat the conjugate oh, you can't see that. I treat the conjugate variables x and p on an equal footing in the phase space picture. I don't know. That ends my sort of defense of Siraj. I mean, in my last video, I was like really going about as soft as you can get just because I liked Siraj. And I thought that even though I was seeing a pattern of behavior, I thought that maybe it wasn't what I thought it was. And it appears to be. So, yeah, really sketchy stuff. The other thing that really upsets me is directly after he makes his apology and whatever, he shouts out the team that he plagiarized from as if he's so happy to give them credit. He goes, shout out to the Zandu AI team. He goes, they and the people doing original work in AI are the real heroes.
Is that you don't need to be a PhD in order to do research, and I think I live that because I recently published a paper called A Neural Qubit.
My aim has always been to try and make their work more widely known among the masses, and I'll continue to do so. No, you're not trying to make their work more widely known. You're trying to make it known as your work. That's like so lame. It's so lame, especially when the paper was built around trying to hide the fact. I mean, I've already gone through this with you guys. It wasn't like, oops, I just, took it. It's like, let me take it and try to hide the fact by changing words around to make sure no one catches me plagiarizing. And then when you get caught, you apologize and shout out the team that you plagiarized from. You lied about who did it. It's not, oh, oops, I need to give more exposure. It's, oops, I said it was me. And actually, it wasn't me who did this thing. Pretty serious stuff, but that's all for me. I think this is the last time I'm going to talk about it. The only reason I felt it was necessary is because I felt it was necessary to correct the record on the last video, where the last video we kind of left an incomplete picture of the full scope of this problem. So that completes our Siraj Raval Fake Guru series, I guess.